Welcome to Beyond Bitewings, the business side of dentistry, brought to you by Edwards & Associates PC. Join us as we discuss how to build your dental practice, optimize your income, and plan for your future. This podcast is distributed with the understanding that Edwards & Associates PC is not rendering legal, accounting, or professional advice. Listeners should consult with their business advisors before acting on any of the information that is shared. At Edwards & Associates PC, our business is the business of dentistry. For help or more information, visit our website at eandassociates.com.
Welcome, everyone, to the Beyond Bitewings business side of dentistry podcast. I am Christy Smith. I am the new client relations director and also marketing director at Edwards & Associates. And with me, I have Robert Edwards, the founder and president of Edwards & Associates. Hi, Robert.
Good morning.
I have Lynn Ledbetter, the director of operations at Edwards & Associates.
Hello.
And I have Ash Fazula, who is one of our senior team leaders at the firm.
Hello.
Hey. So we want to talk about the reason we started this podcast and what information we want to pass along to our listeners. And I think that we had decided that this was just a really good format to get our words out there for people. So, Robert, what is your thought on why you wanted to start the podcast?
Well, I think so many of our clients need help in business matters, not technical matters. They're good clinicians, but most of them will admit they don't have much experience, if any, at running a business. And most dentists are entrepreneurs. They have their own business. So our job is to help educate them as to business matters, how they can run their business, and specifically the business of dentistry.
Right. I think you've said many times that they don't teach business in dental school.
They don't teach business in dental school. I think they teach them maybe to write a business plan.
Right, which we found is
not very useful.
Not very useful at all. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And Lynn, what do you think about the podcast and what do you hope that we can get out there?
That's a great question, Christy.
I put you on the spot. Sorry.
No, that's okay. No, I think the goal is just to inform and educate about the things that they need to be aware of that are maybe current events or just general dental business information that all dental owners, business owners need to know. Mm-hmm. So that their practice functions in the most efficient way possible behind the scenes.
Right.
Because I think that's where we can take some of the stress off of them. That's where we can offer our help. I mean, we can't help them extract teeth.
Right.
But we can help them
Right.
behind the scenes in running their practice.
I would say, too, I mean, don't you think that, I mean, they know how to be entrepreneurs, I think, but there's dental specific things that they need to know as entrepreneurs that we want to teach them.
Absolutely. Any number of things that some don't know and some just don't focus on it because they're too busy doing the work.
Mm-hmm. To get wrapped up in that. And what we hope to do is maybe even take some of that from them that they don't need to be doing also. Right. I mean, there's the little bitty stuff that they don't really even need to do. Ash, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes. And honestly, I think the podcast is a great outlet to inform people. A lot of times we have clients that will reach out to us with similar questions, honestly, over the phone, but having, a downloadable content available on their phone, you can basically download our episodes, take notes where you need to, and, hopefully we'll be able to help you run your practice better, smoother, more efficient. And one thing I do want to tell you guys is that we're not really here to sell. We're here to inform. We want you guys to grow. And, we do try our best to keep up to date with all the information that's out there, stay current with the information. We're affiliated with multiple members out there, companies that try to keep us in the loop. And we do our best to forward that information to you guys.
That's right. Good point.
Okay. So what makes us qualified to give this information? Right?
Right.
I mean, we need to know that. Ash, I think you have something to say. Something to add? You have a lot to add.
Right. Well, the first thing is that we're not your typical CPA firm. We like to think of ourselves as dental advisors with over 2 decades of experience and partnering with various dental-specific vendors we were able to master our niche knowledge. We're different and are constantly honing our skills to better serve our dental clients.
Very good, Ash.
Thank you.
Oh, so we've been this firm. I think, Robert, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Edwards and Associates has been working in the dental department, dental field, since 1993. You said that's 27 years.
That's correct, yes.
And you started out doing seminars, I believe.
We started out with seminars approved by the Academy of General Dentistry for continuing educational credits for the dentists that attended. And one of our early things was to ask them to bring a guest, and it was free to them if they would bring a guest. So that's the way we tried to share our knowledge with non-clients and grow from that.
Right. And now we've grown to 400 plus dentists that we work with on a regular basis.
And they're not all here in Texas. They're
Right.
California, Arizona, all across the southern United States.
Mm-hmm. So, Robert, why don't you tell us a little bit about what our listeners can expect in our podcast?
Well, we have a lot of relationships with different vendors in the dental industry, not just here locally in Dallas and Fort Worth or Texas, but all over the country through our association with the Academy of Dental CPAs. What we want to do is bring some of those people in to share their knowledge of their specific areas of expertise with our clients and with others. You don't have to be our client to call us and get a reference to somebody that you might use for maybe negotiating higher reimbursement rates from the PPOs, or maybe renegotiating your lease terms. We'll have vendors talking about both of those subjects in upcoming episodes.
Right. Okay. And let's talk a little bit about the Edwards and Associates team. We know it's not just Robert working behind the scenes there. He has a great team of very qualified people.
See, this is where I would normally say Robert barely works at all.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Well, I think that's not very
You don't miss a
fair.
chance to get that
I
in.
don't- I never miss a chance to get that.
I don't think that's exactly fair.
It's
but-
not true.
So we have an excellent team, many CPAs and other licensed accountants or licensed, I guess, or licensed.
Degreed.
Yeah, degreed accountants. That's probably a better word. Excuse me, who work with our clients and get them the information that they need to run a better practice, grow their practice, and achieve their goals. Would you say that's fair? That's good?
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's a lot of support staff, and we have the knowledge that most dentists need, I think, to do what they need to do, basically, and get their practice going. And this information that we're going to give them is just part of what we do.
It's just something we want to share with people to really see them succeed.
Mm-hmm.
I know it sounds like a cliche, but really their success is our success.
It's true, though.
They grow, we grow.
No, I think
Absolutely.
that's true. And I think that that's one thing that I've always taken away from working at the firm is that we care. It's not just about getting the work. It's not just about, keeping the doors open, which, I mean, obviously that's a goal, but
Right.
but we care.
It's not just earning a living. It's
No,
actually taking
exactly.
care of these people and
Yeah.
helping them to achieve their goals.
Right.
And it's really amazing the amount of work that goes on behind the scenes that the clients aren't even aware of, the amount of discussions that we're having about their individual circumstances, because oftentimes, a scenario will present itself and there's lots of communications within the firm about how the best way to tackle it is or what the best response would be. And then we go back to the client and say, okay, here's your solution. And they don't know about all the, the brainstorming sessions we've had to try to fine tune the right solution for their circumstance. So it sometimes seems very simple. Okay, here was your question and now here's the answer, but they don't understand. We really do try to accomplish what is best for them, looking at all the pitfalls that they might have depending on which route we take, and present that to them so that they can make an educated choice. So we really do care. We're not going to just throw out an answer to give them an answer. We're going to look for the answer that best suits their needs.
And that's one advantage of having a team like we have with as many people with as much experience as they have. It's great to bounce ideas off of different people in the team and then get the right answer to the client.
Right.
Right.
'Cause, in addition to, the CPAs and accountants who are very knowledgeable in accounting type things, we've got lots of experience with the dental field. I mean, we've got people on staff who have worked at dental offices, they have worked front desk situations that, we can call on and say, how do you run this Dentrix report? Or how do you tell them to keep track of their daily receipts and their end of day totals and things like that. So there's lots of different kinds of knowledge, not to mention the vendors that we can reach out to and say, how do I help me solve this problem that the client is having, or can I refer them to you, or whatever it be.
I think some of those behind the scenes conversations have sort of led to the podcast too, in a way. I mean, not the specific individual things, but I think that things do come up, and this is a great way to get that information out there. And it seems to be the most current format, I think, for most people. I think they're really listening to podcasts too.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, and to Ash's point, client situations vary, of course, but a lot of them ask the same or similar questions. And this would be an easy format to say, hey, here's maybe a more in-depth answer to this question. Or there's a lot of clients or dentists that don't ask that question. But if they heard it, they would be like, oh, yeah, that is a great question. I would like that information. So if one person asks it, then other people probably want to know it as well.
Right. And I think we even talked about inviting listeners to send us their questions also, because that will, give us an idea of what they really need to know,
what
they're thinking.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we know what we know, but if they don't tell us, then, we've always said that too. If they don't tell us, then we don't know.
Right.
Not always. I mean, we can read, but it's good to have some feedback. Ash, I think you had said that we had 200 years of experience or something. Is that what you came up with? That
sounds really scary.
Combined experience.
Combined experience, right.
That is true.
So that's great to have and pass along. So that is a little bit about Edwards & Associates and this podcast adventure that we are about to embark upon. We hope you will listen in each week as we impart our knowledge, give you ideas and all the information that you need to run a successful practice.
And how often could our listeners be expecting our podcast to be uploaded?
Every 2 weeks. Will be every 2 weeks. There'll be a podcast with a different topic, and sometimes a guest. Sometimes it will be an internal conversation. That's a little bit about Beyond Bitewings and Edwards & Associates. And we hope you'll listen every 2 weeks for a new episode. And thank you for listening. And if you've got questions, please email them to info@eandassociates. That's info@eandassociates.com.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christy.
Thanks for listening today. Be sure to subscribe to Beyond Bitewings on your favorite podcast platform. For more info, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, or reach out to us on our website. You can also shoot us an email at info@eandassociates.com.